seeing that with geothermal, with wind power, with solar, with recycling, whole types of industries that cost more than the available alternatives, but people will buy them because they connect with their values and their ideals. That's not a government mandate by itself. Government certainly helps. That's not business trying to convince people to do things. It's connecting the business proposition to the needs of the customer. You can call it marketing if you'd like, but I just think it's smart business. For those that have taken a marketing class, you've probably seen something like this. And this is, I think, almost exactly the way I learned it in my marketing 101 about, well, we won't talk about how long ago. Brand awareness through advertising, through public relations, through media, leads to consideration of purchase, leads to some active purchase, recommendation, leads to trial of the product, perhaps if it's successful, adoption of the product, and then from loyalty to advocacy and brands build. Apple computer is a good example. People know about it if they haven't even bought one. An iPod, there's a social part of this experience. The social networking media proliferation that's happening in this country and around the world is changing this and confusing and disrupting many companies, because that consumer connectivity brings consideration and advocacy together. Products that I didn't even know about, that I wasn't aware of, I may learn from on a social networking site. I can go right to a trial of a product without even really becoming aware of it before. So the social value before the media proliferation was always there, but with connectivity of consumers, and increasingly for those of you that study especially the online space, you'll see that the online space is filled with social, environmental, and economic topics that brands, companies, and individuals are defining themselves by. So the question as a business is literally, how do you see your customers? Are you seeing them just for their dollar value? Are you looking deeper to win their long-term loyalty based upon the needs that they want in the products they buy? People defining themselves by their purchase. So the question is, how do customers see your brands? How do you see your customers? It's CSR in action down to the sale. So let's just spend a few seconds on each topic of the media proliferation. I'm sure you've seen charts like this. This is the explosion of the penetration of social networks. This is only through the beginning of 2008. I think it becomes vertical and maybe even bends and goes. I don't know how it would keep going faster, but it continues to go faster. Much faster than advertisers can spend. The media is not under the control of the advertiser anymore. And people are defining themselves by their issues, which increasingly are C issues. If you just look over a 3-year period, and this is global traffic, this isn't a US slide, and this is from a Morgan Stanley conference last year. Yahoo, MSN, Google, yeah, they're at the top in 2005. 2 of the top 3 are social networking sites now. People sharing their content with each other, having conversations about what's important to them, not what people are pushing towards them. Blogs. Everyone has an opinion, everybody can be a reporter. Blogs are enjoying a similar growth cycle, where blogs connect to others, and for those of you that either read blogs or contribute, how many of you read blogs? How many contribute? So you're part of what we're talking about. Your opinion influences other people. This one book that I've just started to read by Fred Reichfeld is, I think it's fascinating, because he says that there's really one question in this new world, and that is, there's an index of people that promote you, people that detract. That is not under your control unless you understand it and listen to it. And finding the connection to that customer group is key to what we're talking about here today. Now, the government, industry, and charitable organizations all do great work, and arguably we're here today because it's incomplete. Not just here in India, where there are a lot of social challenges, but worldwide. I'll come back to that in a moment. Defining themselves by their consumption, the consumer, what does that mean? A few examples. These are bumper stickers on the backs of cars in America. People defining themselves by what they stand for. No plastic. We all live downstream. Good planets are hard to find. I love that. And companies, understanding that people define themselves, are aligning one at a time with the fair trade stamp. That means the product, of course, is grown under a more humane condition, and a reward to the grower, not just the middleman. Starbucks sells a line of fair trade coffee around the world that costs more than the regular coffee because of the economic equation, but it sells. In our house, it's the only one we buy. Years ago, when the tuna fishing industry had a political problem with killing dolphins in their drift nets, a new brand of Dolphin Safe was created worldwide, with every single manufacturer now on board. This isn't a new idea, but the social networking dynamic that's in the billions of conversations now is driving a whole new level of opportunity and risk. There's whole product lines of products that compete with the main players in the cleaning and home products that are completely safe and without chemicals. As these market shares grow, it has a beneficial effect on the industry that thinks of it, but it also has an even more beneficial impact on the earth. So how do you align the business with your customers? Well, what's your shared interest? This is not a consulting engagement, but the idea is, what do you have in common? What do you have in different between you and your customers, or your targeted customers, or your competitors' customers that you'd like to have? What are their issues along these vectors of society, of the economy, and of the environment? Now it gets into a little bit of marketing theory. Are any of these needs already been addressed? If you're the second coffee company, the impression won't be as strong on fair trade. So it's a scarcity of, we're really a battle for relevance to make sure that your company has a unique place in the minds of your customers. And perhaps there are issues already being handled by charities, already being handled by other civic bodies that you don't need to try to support on your own. So the unrealized needs and how they are relevant to your business. This is a bit of a marketing slide, but starting with that consumer insight, the insight of your target group, not in terms of your product, not in terms of its safety or its value, but in terms of their values. That's the insight. Isolating the issues that are relevant to both your company, your product, and your customer group, which could be a worldwide customer group. All right? Aligning your brand, expressing your brand genuinely. I say genuinely because if it's not a genuine expression, these social networks, they show no mercy. If you're faking, they'll know, and you'll wish you never did. Brand preference and a margin potential, a price elasticity. This is reinvestment in the community. When you can build a connection to the values and your product to the community, you're adding, I think, a deeper value than taxes could ever accomplish. It doesn't require management as part of the commercial operation, so you have both an impact on the social, economic, and environment, and a commercial gain as well. Is that social capitalism? I guess it might be, but it's very targeted, very precise, and it's growing like wildfire. If you're a global business, the issues are global. This is actually a listing from globalissues.org. Run by an Indian gentleman, and you can see global issues, and these are from a blog of sorts, this org website. Which issues here relate to the issues of another multinational company? that might be worthy of supporting with the way you do business. Success is when you're aligned with your customers, and your customers are aligned with you. That's a genuine product, a genuine service that adds social value and economic value. Lastly, C strategies not only can add value to existing business, but they can transform and create industries, and can be aligned business, government, and charities. Wouldn't that be great if every business and every charity and all governments prioritized issues together and realized they couldn't solve the problems alone? Taxes alone, charity alone, and profits alone can't accomplish everything, but together, it's our full resource. Here's an example. In California, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger set a new goal, that for new homes built by 2020 to have a zero effect on the power grid.